Let's give it 10 seconds. Hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this third edition of the NUGEN live stream. This is like I said, this is the third one. If you've missed the one last month, then basically we're going to be chatting a little bit about what's happening here at NUGEN Audio. A couple of things like the updates we've recently done. Basically, there's going to be a quick bulletin style roundup of the highlights of the latest things that NUGEN have done with the plugins, couple of updates, couple of campaigns that we've been doing. Then we'll quickly touch upon stuff that's been happening in the wider world of audio and music production, sort of like a quick bulletin style roundup with some highlights of the latest news regarding technology, any interesting developments in production techniques, both in post and MI, and just some interesting things of note that are a bit more trivial. And then towards the end, we'll be looking, we have a section that we've been calling the deeper look section, which is a section where we just talk about, on the NUGEN website, we've got a couple of, we've got a section called the learning section, where we have a few blogs and tutorial style videos. If you've missed the past couple of streams, what we're looking at the minute is our mastering for the internet blog that's been online for a couple of years now. The part of this section that I'm going to touch upon today, due to some technical difficulties we had in the last stream, the section that I'm going to cover in this stream is going to be a repeat of the section we did in the July stream, but because of some problems we had with the equipment, we've had to it's not still on YouTube, so we're going to have to redo. Well, we're redoing that one in a better quality, and we're just going to basically chat about the introduction of streaming services, sort of like the tail end of loudness wars, going into this past decade, and sort of like loudness normalisation, and how it's basically affected people's mixing habits and just the general sort of music production world. So yeah, those are the three sections we're going to talk about today. So we've got NUGEN news, audio news, and a deeper look section. So yeah, this is a roundup of what's been happening at NUGEN. So following on from our Stereoizer Elements release that we had back in April this year, we are now, unless you've already seen it already, back in July, we were happy to announce that we have released our full Elements bundle, which contains monofilter elements, Stereoizer elements, and stereo placer elements. And these are kind of more accessible, condensed versions of their parent plugins, available at a lower price point. What I'll just show you, I'll show you the focus elements. So this is the product page. You're welcome to find this if you go to nugenaudio.com/focus elements. Like I said, streamlined and accessible versions of the plugins. These are all available to try now on our website. So you got like stereo enhancement, stereo width, manipulation, bass management, and also like frequency specific panning tools. So between the three of them, really good for music production. And also, if you're not too tech savvy with your plugins as yet, if you're just getting started with music production, these are three plugins that are really worth a go. Like I said, you're welcome to try a 15-day trial on our website. So that had its full release back in July. So if any of you are interested in that, then feel free to have a go. and let us know how you get on, as well. Also, at the minute, we are running our Define Your Sound campaign, which, if you can see there, there's a link to the landing page for that. Basically, with the Define Your Sound campaign, it's not promoting any products necessarily. It's a chance for our customers or people who aren't that familiar with NUGEN to get in contact with us. It's a chance for us to learn from you. Basically, if you go to the Define Your Sound page, you can sign up to our mailing list. Obviously, as I've said before, welcome to try a free trial of any of our plugins through this link. And it's a chance. We also have this section where if you enter your email address, we have a suggestion box. So if there's anything in particular that you'd like NUGEN to explore, some avenues to go down, things we can improve on, then this is your chance to get in contact with us. So if you want to send a suggestion to NUGEN, and this can be anything you like, there's no set way of doing this. And we always think willingness to learn from our customers and how we approach our work helps us make better decisions in the long term, and also it helps give a better customer experience to you guys. So if there's something that interests you, then head on to the link that you can see there, and have a little nose around the page. We've got a few quotes there, a few links to previous campaigns we've done, and a few little things that we've also done as a company outside of our campaigns. So if that's something that interests you, then feel free to go to the link. And that's mostly what's been happening with NUGEN Audio recently. We've had the Halo Immersive campaign in June, where we ran like a promotion with Halo Upmix, all to do with Dolby Atmos. And we've got some exciting things in the coming months, but we'll touch upon that in the next live stream because I don't want to give too much away at this moment in time. The next section we're going to talk about is roundup of audio news. So let's go. So what's been happening in the audio post-production and music production world? You may have seen this on the last live stream, but it's worth mentioning again. Italy as a country unveiled their first Dolby Atmos studio at Pino Pisciatola's studio. It's the Panaxa studio in Milan. He's been working. He's someone who's worked with numerous artists before, the likes like Robert Palmer, Depeche Mode, and Joe Venatti, a few more Italian artists as well. And it's the first ever Dolby Atmos certified mixing room in Italy. It's kind of reinforces the point that it's a rapidly growing format, especially when it comes to music. It's been in post-production for quite a number of years now, and now it seems to be making its way into music production. A quote that Pisciatola's said himself is, he knew Atmos would be a game changer from the get-go. When it became obvious that the format was scalable, and with major streaming services like Amazon Prime Video and Apple Music announcing support, he stated that it won't be long before it's the new standard everywhere. Now, we've mentioned that in the first stream, how a lot of streaming services now are becoming Dolby Atmos compatible. It's an interesting new direction for music mixing, obviously a step away from stereo, but it's developments like this are a very strong indication that Dolby Atmos will become more prominent in the audio engineering world, and I think it's going to be a very sort of like the way it'll develop over the next few years will sort of tell the tale of what's to come, as well. With Amazon Prime as well, they've also recently announced, along with the Amazon Music streaming services, they're looking to bring live concert streaming as like a regular format to their streaming services, with an expansion into live podcasts and talk shows with a music emphasis, which I do think's quite an interesting point. The likes of streaming services have previously only played recorded music or had live albums, and something like this where you're able to watch a live concert through a streaming services. It's probably something that's probably come about through COVID and a lot of like live streaming concerts that have been made available mainly because audiences couldn't get to see the band. But this is something that Amazon Music have looked at as a platform. So I think they've recently had one with Celeste, who's one of the sort of up and coming pop artists at the minute in the UK. And Amazon said it's looking to integrate live audio features into live streaming, as well as their service Twitch, which is also something Amazon own. But they say like live audio could be the company's way of widening the types of content it can offer to customers. Well, it's said to be focused on live music first. Talk radio programs on podcasts are expected to follow. So another interesting sort of development in the way we consume music, the way music might be produced, the way live music might be produced for streaming services. It does seem like there's a bit of the ball rolling in terms of technology when it comes to these kind of things. In a slightly different piece of news, there's a few of you may be familiar with the Rolling Cloud service, and they tend to do like a software emulation kind of plugins kind of range. And if anyone's familiar with the TR-707 or 727, these are like old analog drum kits from back in the day that had tended to have like some really punchy drum sounds, and were quite sort of famous for their drum and kicks, as well as their hi-hats. Now these are now become available as a software emulation on the Rolling Cloud service, or you can buy it outright as a plugin as well. I'm assuming a few of you may be familiar with the classic the Rhythm Composer TR-707. So this is something that's quite cool that's coming in. The fact that the access to more legendary drum sounds in particular, the software emulation as a whole seems to be improving as an entire industry. It makes it more accessible for amateur and bedroom producers who, you're not going to be able to afford the old Roland drum machines or the like the old Yamaha synthesizers, things like this. I think it's worth making a note of and putting in these live streams, because certain people who are just starting music production may be aware of these the original drum machines, but may not necessarily think that they can have access to it themselves. So if you're interested in that, have a look at the Roland TR-707 and TR-727, sorry. The software emulation that's now available, either to buy outright or on the Roland Cloud. Which is kind of, as well, an interesting point to make, that it ties in with the fact that Mark Ronson has released a new show on Apple TV recently, which explores the links between music production and technology, and looking how specific synthesizers and drum machines have influenced creative decisions over time. So there you go, there's access to like some of the seminal and classic drum machines that would have been used back in the day. And again, it's tying in with the evolution of technology makes things more accessible for the amateur producer, and how that can influence sounds, in contemporary music going forward across the next decade. Because you'd imagine a lot more people having access to these old machines, a lot more people having access to these classic sounds, can hopefully only mean a good thing for the creative side of music production. And that's all we're going to chat about on the audio news. Hopefully just a few little points, not going into too much detail in them. I'll let you guys, if you're interested in anything that you've just heard, Go and have an explore on the internet to see if you're interested in any more, and obviously go and have a try of a few of the instruments that we've mentioned before. And now we'll just have a jump into our last section, which is the second part of our mastering for the internet. As I've mentioned in the intro, this is the second part of the mastering for the internet. So if you want to go back and watch the first part first, and then jump into this one, this live stream is being recorded and it will go on YouTube after the stream has ended. So feel free to go and watch that first and then come back to this video at a later date if you so want to. So this is our final section, which we call a deeper look. So this is mastering for the internet, part 2. So if you joined us last time, you know that the first part of this sort of blog series was touching all upon the loudness wars and the introduction of streaming services. This next section's going to take a little bit more of a focus on the streaming services themselves. Essentially, streaming services and loudness normalisation have tended to become the norm and kind of taken over as a platform how people consume music. So from where the loudness wars were more of a race to get the biggest and loudest and what would people suggest is the best sound, but wasn't necessarily true, has essentially gone over recent years. Loudness normalisation, or to put it simply, matching, because essentially it is a decibel offset applied to the entire song. So it will like match it to whatever that streaming platform's playout level is, and no dynamic processing occurs within this. This was basically to combat varying perceived loudness levels in different songs. And I'm sure you guys have all listened to albums before where you listen, it could be like a compilation album or even just switching between albums where the volume level out the speakers or the decibel level out the speakers is so different between tracks that it almost becomes uncomfortable at certain times. So this is the whole idea that loudness normalisation was brought in to combat this problem. We'll just have a quick look at some streaming services and what their target values are. So if I just go to the screen, so if you guys, that should be on your screen there. So if we have a look here, you've got the likes of Spotify at -14 LUFS, YouTube also at the same loudness target level, Apple Music and Tidal, as well as AAS has a range between -20 to -16 LUFS. These are all relatively in the same ballpark. As you can see, they all use similar codecs. You got like the OGG Vorbis and the AAC, which tend to be the most prevalent. So what's worth mentioning about that, so using a couple different codecs, the OGG Vorbis, the OGG stands for the containers that contain the stream information, and Vorbis handles the audio data for lossy audio compression. AAC stands for Advanced Audio Coding. Again, another audio coding standard for lossy audio compression. And this was essentially set out to be a replacement for MP3, as it could achieve a higher quality of sound. Now, we do have, as a company, as NUGEN, we do have a couple plugins that can help you reference this loudness normalisation. So, if you wait with me 1 second, I'm just going to load up my DAW, and I'll show you a couple plugins that we've got at the minute. So here's a Logic session I've got open. The first plugin I'm going to show you is MasterCheck. MasterCheck is essentially a referencing tool that we have where you can audition your audio against those the play out level on streaming services, and it takes into account things like compression and loudness normalization, and it also has a codec section. These differ depending on the preset that you've currently got loaded in, and so I'm on the YouTube preset currently at the minute. As you can see, you've got like the Vorbis one, and you've got 3 lots of varying qualities of AAC. So if I play the track for you now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through the different codecs, and you'll be able to see the difference in quality. Also, I will show you the delta function as well, where it solos the audio that's been removed. So I'll just fly through these dead quick. And if I just press on the delta function, this will solo the audio that is being taken away with each codec. So as you can hear, the higher the quality of let's move that out the way. The higher the quality of the audio, the less is lost through the codec, as you will be able to hear through that delta function. There you go. Sorry about that. It's a good way to anticipate codec distortion that can occur through the mixdown. So like I've said, with things like AAC and MP3, you can hear this pre-mixed down. It always just leaves you a step ahead, and just is another tool to enhance your workflow and hopefully enhance your mix. We do have one more tool. This is a bit more post-production emphasized. This is VILALM. As you can see, the audio I've chosen is deliberately going to cause some peaks and stuff, because I wanted to show you the difference from a track that's not mixed to a track that would be played, a fully mixed track that would be played on streaming services. So this is VILALM. This is more of a post-production tool, but it does allow you to measure the integrated loudness, short-term loudness, and the LRA, or is most commonly known as the loudness range. So if I play, you'll hear the track again. As you can see, there's loads of peaks in this track, and what we call in VILALM is the flag function. So if I click on here, you can hop skip between, these red lines here are the flag functions, and you're able to skip between flags as and when they appear. This basically allows you to find the specific sections of the audio that have peaked, and it's a really easy way, especially if you're using particularly longer projects such as master projects. The flag function is particularly useful. Another thing that VILALM does is the history view. This is where the plugin will remember the audio as it's being played. As you can see, like as I play the audio now, as you can see there, it's building a line graph and calculating the integrated values at real time. But if you make any particular edits to the audio, VILALM will remember those specific edits, but it won't recalculate the entire piece of audio. And this especially helps you because you don't have to go back and reanalyze after you've made any tweaks and changes. So that's a look at VILALM. A bit more of a post-production tool, but can be used as a good referencing tool for your audio on music tracks and master tracks and things like that. It can prove quite useful. So that's a look at the deeper look section. We basically touched upon a bit of mastering for the internet. There's a few other things, so we'll move on to the next section of the blog series. If you want to have a look at this is all on the NUGEN Audio website. If you can find it on our learning section, or if you want to have a little read, if you just type in NUGEN Audio Mastering for the Internet. The next section we'll talk about next time is a section that has got kind of a provocative title. It's called No One Is Listening to Your Mixdown, and this is all to do with codec distortions, how things sound in the DAW in their original form, and how people tend to hear them through after certain downstream processes, and limitations that have been caused through uploading to streaming services, and how you can hopefully regain control of your mixes and anticipate the processes that will happen after you've submitted your mix. So that's all we've got time for on this NUGEN live stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's still early days. These will be getting a bit more slicker as we go along. This is the third one we've done. So we'll add in more sections in the coming months. We've got plenty of exciting things happening here at NUGEN Audio. And like I said, with the Define Your Sound campaign that we've got running, I'll just put the link on our page one more time. If you want to get in touch with us, if you've got any suggestions for NUGEN Audio, any particular plugins you'd like us to make, or any particular campaigns that you think we'd like to do, or just tell us what you think about us as a company. We'd love to hear from you, and it'll be really nice to hear from the people that have been using our plugins throughout the years. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I will catch you guys in a month's time. So these streams are going to be on the first Tuesday of every month moving forward. We've had a slight day change for this one, just through the workloads and things like that. So first Tuesday of every month moving forward will be the NUGEN live stream. So hopefully we'll see you guys in October for the next one, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening or day or morning. Thank you for watching.